One thing I think associated with the NWO is the iconic theme song, but another iconic theme was your theme song. When I think a lot of fans, when they think of Buff Bagwell, they instantly think of your theme song. I want to know, did you actually have much hand in the creation of the theme apart from your vocal parts?
No, none, zero. All of it was Jimmy Hart. He came up with the vocal parts and everything. And the night I cut that was the exact same night I broke my neck.
Oh, bloody hell.
In Columbia, South Carolina. I go do that in the back room. I cut my part where I've got to say, you know, I'm Buff Daddy. I'm Buff, I'm the stuff, you know, all that stuff.
Love that.
I had to add
Really
that
good.
into the song and literally walked out, wrestled, and got paralyzed. And I was like, what in the hell? This is, you know, I'm real big on asking God why. Because you get caught up with whys with God, and you're going to be sitting there a long time, you know. I mean, why is my son retarded and their son isn't? Why is my son an athlete and their son isn't? You know, why is my son good looking and their son's not? I mean, you know, why you can just go on, man. It's a bad, why is a bad thing to get caught up with a prayer or conversation with God. And so I stayed away from that. But when I was laying there paralyzed, trust me, it was all I could do not to go, hey, you know, why are you doing this to me, big man? Why is this the plan? And I never wanted to say why. I still haven't asked why to this day, but I came up with this. I said, is this really the route that you had planned for me to go out at the height of pro wrestling and the height of my career? And I never got no answer back, physically or mentally or Holy Spirit wise or anything. I just got back in the ring, and I had 2 doctors tell me to quit. And the third doctor was a female of all things. And she said, yeah, you probably should quit. And I went, well, that's it, 3 for 3. And she goes, but at the same time, you need to quit taking a shower. You need to quit driving a car. You need to, I'm thinking, I mean, what is she talking about? Well, then it finally hit me. She meant quit living. Because what you've got wrong with you, yeah, you get paralyzed again, but no different than getting paralyzed again for you know, getting hit really hard and maybe causing a neck fusion, you know, that could be fixed. My 2 could be fixed. They were at 3, 4, and 6, 7, and they got fixed with believe it or not, the hip surgery is 20 times worse. 20, bro. I'm not shitting you. Months after my neck was back. And I already started gaining weight again from being in the gym. But I'd come out hobbling and people go, what happened to your leg, man? And they go, if your hips hurting, why are you limping? I go, well, baby, you know, my neck got, medically what they call it is a bruised spinal cord. My cervical disc hit my cord, and instead of severing it and making me paralyzed, it just hit it. And when you hit it, it causes, you know, swelling. So by the time I left the hospital, I was standing up and posing. And he said, just go slow at first and uncross my legs and just start to set up and take a breath for a minute. And it don't take me too long to get going. So I got going, but you know, it just it was a real big eye opener, bro. That 11 minutes laying there paralyzed is a big deal, bro. 11 minutes is a long time, man.
Man, that is scary. When it happened as well, I mean, it's just, you know, I think people forget, like, you know, how dangerous wrestling is, and you know, you put your bodies on the line for our entertainment, but the sacrifices that you do.
Yes.
One thing I'm going to ask, because it's right in front of me, and I think you know I'm going to ask, what made you decide to get a top hat? And I mean, back in WCW when you used to have like your face on it, it was definitely something unique. I fucking loved it. But I want to know what made you sort of put it. How'd you put it off? By the way,
top hat, believe it or not, was a complete accident. I was a big fitted fitted ball cap person. I loved all kind of ball caps that were kind of different, that were fitted. And you could wear them backwards, and they had like, Ole Miss or, Cal or Georgia, or, and if you turned it around, it was a bulldog on the front, but I always wear my hats backwards and stuff. But I was a big hat freak. And then one day I was with my second wife in there. It was called Lids. It was the name of the hat company. And they're still around. They're a big company. And they said, she goes, and then, the top hat was like on the top shelf, way in the back. And she goes, why don't you try that top hat on? And so I said, well, here, hand to me, And I put it on. And for some reason, I can't explain why, it looked absolutely incredible on me. And I went, man, that looks pretty damn cool. And I didn't really think right there, like, I can make this part of wrestling. I didn't think, I just thought, I'm going to at least buy this hat. I'm rich. I was making money. So what wasn't going to hurt me. So I said, I'm just going to buy this hat just to see what I can do with it. Well, about that time is when I broke my neck and had to start reaching for things like the overalls. When I came out with the overall stuff, I had to get creative because I'd lost 50 pounds over breaking my neck. And that's when the top hat really came into play, was just to have another avenue of stardom and something else that I call it leaving a dent. And this top hat left a dent. This top hat's on action figures. To this day, and I know, there's nobody, not even The Rock, can put the top hat on without somebody saying, hey, that's that hat that Buff Bagwell wore,
Yeah.
So that's hard to get in this business, bro. It's because everybody's tried everything and everybody's done everything. So to get something that really sticks to your own, that's yours. And my mother is who thought of putting my face.
Hey, just love it. Sorry, man.
Who's got it on there?
Sorry, now the teenager in me just marks out right now. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I'd always come out and be like, Daddy, Mom, Daddy. So my mom thought of that, and that was kind of.
I've got to be professional. Sorry.
That was kind of cool, So we did the hat, the face on top, and it just kind of went from there. And people loved the top hat, so we just. Then even when WWF ended, I went on to the independent circuit. I really thought I could kind of get rid of the hat and not be a hassle. I showed up in my first show, and the guy goes, "Where's your hat?" And I said, "I didn't bring it." He goes, "You didn't bring your hat?" So I found out pretty quick that the hat got booked, and I just happened to come along with it. Yeah, so
that's up.
That's cool. That hat made for such a cool entrance. Like, I used to love the way that you used to like show the face and then almost be always talking to the camera on your way down the aisle. So like saying like, I'm the staff, I'm so sexy and all this. It was so cool. It just worked.
They tried so hard to get me to quit talking in the camera. Here's 20 million people, and here's 30 or 40,000. Now, that's pretty simple math to me, but they didn't want me to talk into the camera. And I'd always go, okay, and went straight back out there and talked into it again. Till finally, the Spooks came down and said, if Buff wants to talk into the camera, let Buff do what he wants. And every agent looked at me like they could kill me. And I won the war of who gets to talk on the camera or not, So, yeah, but it was a lot of fun to be able to, because it was different. Nobody did it. I don't know why. I want to talk to 20 million. I want 20 million to see me. Look at me. If you remember, I'd come out and I'd bring the camera toward me.
During the matches, or he's Buff Bagwell, giving it the biggin in the corner. Literally.
Yes. Yeah. Then I'd talk shit in the ring and come out and go, God, I look good. Do not adjust your screen. I am this good looking.
So it was part of a gimmick though, man. Like you had the physique for it and everything, you know, you're in great shape and it worked so well, you know.
It did. It just worked. It just worked. And they really, really tried to get me to quit doing it. And I just never stopped until finally the suits came down and said, look, you do what you want. And I said, thank you, you know.
I bet it wasn't as fun then afterwards, but afterward you couldn't.
No, now that I got the okay for it, it was like, I don't want to do it no more. I like breaking the rules.
Oh, that's quality, man. That's quality.